Airplanes have a strange way of holding secrets. Somewhere between the hum of the engines and the chatter of strangers, a story can unfold that no one expects. On a quiet Tuesday morning, Ethan Cole, a widowed single father in his early 40s, boarded Flight 287 with his 10-year-old son, Jake. He looked ordinary, tired eyes, a worn-out jacket, and a boy clutching a backpack. To most passengers, he was just another dad traveling with his child, seated quietly in 12F by the window. Jake was excited, chattering about seeing fighter jets at the airbase they were flying near. But Ethan only smiled faintly, his thoughts elsewhere. He had long ago learned to live quietly, far from the world that once knew his name. Midway through the flight, the captain's voice came over the intercom, cheerful and casual. But then something unusual happened. The captain mentioned they would be passing a formation of F-22 Raptors conducting training exercises. Passengers pressed against the windows, eager to catch a glimpse of the sleek, powerful jets. Jake's eyes widened. "Dad, look, F-22s. Ethan leaned closer, his heart stirring with memories he had buried deep. And then, out of nowhere, a voice crackled over the plane's radio. One of the F-22 pilots had recognized something. They had caught wind of a name on the flight manifest, an old call sign. The pilot's voice was steady but filled with awe. "Request to confirm, eyes, Viper 1, on board this flight." The cabin went silent. Passengers looked at each other in confusion. Flight attendants froze. Ethan's face paled. That was his call sign, known only to those who had flown alongside him years ago. He had been one of the most decorated fighter pilots of his generation, a legend in the Air Force, but he had walked away after his wife's death to raise Jake in peace. The captain stepped out of the cockpit, scanning the cabin. "Sir, C-12F." All eyes turned to Ethan. He shifted uncomfortably, trying to wave it off. But Jake's voice cut through the silence. "Dad, that's you, isn't it? You're Viper 1. The whispers grew louder. Strangers who had ignored him moments ago now stared with respect and disbelief. The captain leaned closer. "Sir, the F-22s are requesting permission to honor you." Ethan swallowed hard, emotion rising in his chest. Slowly, he stood, and as if on cue, the F-22 Raptors outside dipped their wings in perfect formation, a salute reserved only for the greatest among them. Passengers gasped. Phones lifted, recording history. Jake pressed his face to the glass, eyes shining with pride. "That's for you, Dad." Ethan nodded, his voice breaking. "That's for us, son. For every sacrifice we made." The moment was surreal. The quiet, unnoticed single dad in 12F was suddenly revealed as a hero, a man whose name still commanded respect among warriors of the sky. But what happened next melted every heart on that plane. Jake stood on his seat and shouted, loud enough for everyone to hear. "That's my dad, my hero." The cabin erupted in applause. Strangers reached out to shake Ethan's hand. Some had tears in their eyes. The flight attendants hugged him. And for the first time in years, Ethan allowed himself to feel the weight of what he had given, and the love he had gained in return. When they landed, the F-22 pilots taxied alongside the commercial plane. Ground crew members stood at attention. It wasn't about rank, fame, or medals. It was about kindness, respect, and honoring sacrifice. Ethan held Jake's hand tightly as they walked off. No press, no cameras, just the quiet pride of a father who had once been a warrior, now finding his greatest mission in raising his son. And as Jake whispered, "I want to be like you someday, Dad," Ethan smiled with tears in his eyes. Because sometimes, the greatest story isn't the one written in history books, it's the one written in the heart of a child who finally understands. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more kindness stories. Because kindness, once shared, never dies.